Okay.
Hello, this is Mystic Brew, and we're kind of doing some things between 2012 and 2020. We were in conversation. We're kind of picking up the recording now, so here we go.
Okay.
In 2012 is happening right now. You know, people that understand the concepts of time know that the future's happening now and the past is happening now. Well, we're in real time. What was promised pre-2012, saying that the ship takes off, or the Earth takes off, or whatever. It's just like it's happening now. Is best ever. The whole planet had to stop. And it might have been nefarious from different players as such. It doesn't matter because God knows all. So it was known. God knows all the potentials, and we pick it up with our looking glass technology, your gland, and work with it noospherically the best we can. Happening now, right across the board, and it had to happen. People think it's nefarious. It was, but it ain't. Because God knows all, and it's happening perfectly. We had the standstill. The 2012 is sweeping us beautifully, and we've always got a choice: wear that mask or not wear that mask. As such, you know, go in and be real, grow our beards with comfort. It's happening, and it's beautiful. You know, to just sit there and go, it was all worthwhile for me. I was a 2012 child. When I was in my 40s, I was a 2012 child. You know, my life revolved around. Nobody wants this. You know, this is, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, and it comes down to the awakening journey where you have the outer awakening, you have the inner awakening. Do the outer awakening first. It's a lot tougher. Now, if you've done the inner awakening and inner journey, and then you start going down the rabbit holes, where it's vaccines or the horrible stuff, easier if you've done the inner journey first. So, yeah, it's feeling good. It's feeling good, and just to be able to reference 2012 happening now, big, big. It's so exciting. It's not easy, but it's so exciting. So exciting. You've got Mount St. Helens memorial going on, 40 years in your area. Talking of the past.
In the state, right? That's the synchronicity there. The state's kind of reminiscing, and they're looking at the situation after 40 years in remembrance of having, especially in the area where I live, east of the mountain, of wearing face masks. And I posted a clip on Musing of the Great Northwest, of two video clips of the coverage. This morning at 8:32, I believe it was the anniversary. I wasn't living here, but everyone in the country, knew about it, and everyone in the world pretty much followed suit with that. But in the state, it really affected the state, and the videos are up all around the YouTube and internet where you can take a glimpse. Because my profound thing was, even before I moved to Spokane, was talking to people down in White Salmon and Hood River, down on the Columbia. Talking to people down there back almost 10 years ago about the ash, and this local area, all around this area, 2 to 6 inches of ash within 24 hours. The massive cloud that just came over this area, and there's pictures of it. But yeah, that's, the people are reacting. It's very interesting to see and talk to people when I go out, and I do go out, for my errands like everyone does. But I do it with services, people driving for me and whatnot. So I get to get a perspective of people that are out and about more. And they're telling me it seems to be, what you just described, Vern. Whether people were awoken, back, in that period of when we all pretty much started meeting up on alternative forums and conspiracy forums and on the internet and on Skype and et cetera, that the regular person is also experiencing this now, but the word that obviously comes to an old hack like me is reset, and that's the general term that we can use. That no matter what happens through this, there's been a click up here, in our spirit, and so where it goes, I mean, there's going to be a lot of hard times to come, and I'm not talking about depression. I'm just talking about people adjusting their lives. If they're younger, it will be easier, obviously, but it's going to be frustrating. If you're older, it's sort of like, well, we've been in this mode for a long time, or at least preparing for it. So if we're not prepared, as you say, to spiritually as well as physically adjust to it, then it is going to be difficult. But
Just realized, Gio, I just realized that there'll be a few people here that are wondering why there's 3 of us instead of 2. I just clicked. There will be people. Well, I'll just give a wee backdrop to that, shall I? Because about 3 or 4 days ago, the 3 of us got together and we did a 2 hours or longer brew. And I still haven't forgiven you 2 yet. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience, and there was a lot of reconnection, especially with you, Gio, especially between Modi and yourself. And we chose in our wisdom, or you 2 bastards did, to delete it and to do this one. So we've already.
In many ways, the beauty of that reunion is something that is not for other people to see. Fuck them.
No, I just felt the need to explain that, hey, Gio's here. That we've had that connection, reconnect, and we're going from this space here.
I'm going to add to that, and you know this, that in the aftermath of that, it was prolonged. It was really long, and we're talking, dozens of hours. And I've never experienced anything like that online with friends, and it's been a great.
It was very beautiful.
Yeah, a great it's sort of like awakening again, a second awakening, which brings us to this recording here, and allows for it, and it's perfect timing for this. I think another thing we can add. I know a lot of people maybe not be aware of where we meet up and everything on Todd, and of course Fern's active on other forums. We were able to have you come back and join us and celebrate that in the last day or two, Rad, and I'm so glad that you came back and decided to join again, the active, small group that we have in our little tent, so to speak.
That's right. Yeah, the tent. Yeah, the tent is reopened.
For those that don't know, all 3 of us here, Modi, Gio, I see you got Redagast there. Redagast, Gio, and myself have all had our experience on the Project Everlong forum, and none of us are there anymore. And we're on the top forum, and I'm more of the. I'm on the top secret White House Q thread.
Yeah.
I know you 2 are both looking at that as well. But there'll be people. I always put these videos up, Gio, on the ATS White House Q thread.
Okay.
So that's where I'll go there, and I'll put it there first, because we always have some Q content of some kind, and I've made some beautiful connections. I haven't worked out the PMs, and I'm a tech dinosaur. But just some of the people. I know that you'll go and have a look, Gio. You'll see some, and you'll catch up on the Q side of it, whether you're in there or not. I just feel that you'll make your own choices. But they not part of our Mystic Brew a wee bit as well. You know, nice comments from.
I have to say, and I don't demonstrate it because I don't post a lot of content of my opinions, but I have to say I've been more open as of late, especially since this pandemic, to allow for everyone's ideas and wherever they're getting their, the energies from. I'm more open to it now. I'm even open, I'll say this publicly, I'm even open to some of the things because I've been on the fence for the last 4 years about Donald Trump. But I will say, as annoying as he is to me personally, some of the things that I'm seeing that's happening in our government here in the United States, and also it's having an effect on the world, that we're looking in cubby holes in places of our, our hollowed halls that need to be cleaned out, that need to be re-examined, reworked, so on. So even if he is or isn't elected president again of the United States, as a figurehead, because that's what the presidency is, we will start seeing what you were speaking of this wave, this changing that's affecting us during this time. It's no coincidence that I believe this pandemic, from the dark side as well as the light side, is using the full effect of it to go at it, to go at it.
This was one of the reasons why I was so excited about the last video we did, because I could see that you had, from a vehement energy to a open energy, and that was what I wanted to the White House. Hey, we're in the process of raising the dead. I'm not calling you a dead person, but not open to that. And what Mori and me talked about, why raise the dead? Let them bury themselves, sort of thing. And I'm like, hey, we're all one. So you're just not acknowledging your arm or your ear. And when we did that video, I know there's things in it that and I'm happy it didn't come out in the end. But if it had got on the Q thread, they would have all sat there and go, I can identify with that fellow Geo because I was a Democrat or I was a Republican that hated Q or Trump or whatever, gone through that journey. So they'd already done your journey. So I was quite excited. So that was another reason I was like, oh. But hearing you say that now, I'm sure that there'll be many that identify. I'm not in American politics, so I'm really
it's gone beyond politics. It's all gone beyond politics. And I know other, fellow forum members and everything already know that. But the bickering back and forth of this or that, I like satire. I like cartoons. Everyone knows that's ever seen anything. I post things like that, Far Side and New York cartoons, New Yorker cartoons, and so on and so forth. But saying that, we've gone beyond, the party bickering. Governments are governments, whether it be in your country or our country. Saying that, now we all have to realize we just have to let it happen, whatever's going to happen, because the valve's been open. And whatever anyone wants to think of this pandemic, for where it came from, the originality of it, or it's a lot more involved than just human evolution and biology. It's the earth, it's the cosmos. So we just got to go with it.
That was another thing we spoke about last time, but I feel we should go into is that not needing to red pill people anymore, because it's becoming self-evident, becoming so obvious now that you don't have to do the red pilling, and that allows you to bring the energy back. And that's what I'm experiencing just the last few days, being with family. We reconnected in New Zealand. They put it down to level 2.
Yeah.
And so we reconnected with my parents in their 70s, and Dad was all like,
oh, that's sweet. That's good.
But Mum, Dad, come here. And Dad was like, oh. And I tried to explain to Dad, it doesn't effing matter now, because if Mum does it, you got it too. we laugh, but yeah,
That's a great example of the reaction of really reality. Some people, are ready to embrace the hug, which you and I and Brad were all into, but others, when it even comes to reopening stuff, it's like, I don't know if I should go out. I don't know if I should do that. But that's a wonderful example and typical of a group, if not a family, that we all are different. We all have, and we can all still be awake and still have those reactions. The full party thing.
When we have the fear of death, and we've all gone through it. We're over 20 near-death experience of some kind.
Yeah.
And the whole world just went through a near-death experience. Like it was broadcast that parents or whatever. It was broadcast as what it was. So everybody got. Well, I shouldn't say everybody because I didn't. I know Monty didn't. I don't know if you did or not, but I wasn't scared. Done a lot of the self. But what I'm saying is, when the whole world goes through this, I might die at a deep level of knowing that you might die. And I always reference the earthquakes in Christchurch. We had many die,
That's right. Yeah. Right now, a year after, I remember that because of Carmen being here, and that was September of 2011. That when the first one happened, right?
First one was September 2010. The second one was Feb 22nd, 2011. Yeah.
Believe me, I remember that. Yeah.
So that
God bless those souls that passed.
We watched breakups happening, and people married for 30, 40 years, breaking up. They were going to go to the grave, even if they didn't like each other. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, no, they had this thing, what do I want in life? What do I want to achieve? What don't I want in my life? It woke them up to a new level of self-awareness. So the whole world has just woken up to a new level of self-awareness. When you nearly die in a car accident, you wake up a little bit.
Yes. Anyone who's had a near death, you have at least for a post period of anywhere from days to maybe months to maybe sometimes a few years where you just don't get over it, and you walk a different step. Sometimes you feel more energized, more alive is the word, excited about living day to day, and some have depression for a while too, especially as it moves.
It usually
forward.
moves people into depression or passion.
Yeah. Well, I'm just speaking of my own. I've had two of those experiences, and I still sometimes I wish I had that energy again, if not that excitement of life, because it's sort of like being born again in a way. The experience.
Getting sober is like that too. I'm talking about not somebody who I'm talking about somebody who's had a real drinking issue problem. They just they shake without it. They can't live without it. And then where I was at a period in my life, my younger years, and I remember after I got through, the initial jitters, I had like this. I was so much more productive. It was like it was like I came back from the dead.
Yeah, it's like something awake. Well, it awakens something in you that is always there. It's part of you, and then you're allowed for it to come forward, and then it just and you say, why can't it be like this all the time? But I don't know, and that's where we get into these substance abuses of drugs and alcohol and sex and whatever, because we want that feeling. As humans, we want to feel that passion, that alive every day. But I sometimes think we can or should be able to, but obviously the system that we've been living in, meaning the overall.
That's what really prevents a lot of us really just appreciating how beautiful being a human on this planet is. And
Yeah.
especially how the love we tend to feel for each other, especially when like that thing that you posted about the real story of the Lord of the Flies, Gio.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There we go. Right
Yeah.
there. Because they didn't have a government. They had themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. The story of the young men uh, down in Australia being stranded on an island because they stole a fishing boat and went to this small island. And they got stranded there for, I don't know, 15, 18 months back in the late 60s. And they organized. They organized, the young men organized and had I don't want to say utopian experience, but they definitely had a positive experience.
We're
And
not looking for utopia. We live in paradise, which isn't a utopia, but we're put in paradise. And then they said, they had their squabbles. That's some of the resolving of issues, part of the beauty of things. That this one consciousness in so many different ways and expresses so many genetic things, but that consciousness is based in love. And so occasionally you have to battle to kind of clear it. But again, it was such a beautiful story. And it's just so typical of how the media will take a story like that and turn it into Lord of the Flies.
yeah,
That
they made a book
nasty,
about
nasty
the
tale.
book.
You
What's
notice
interesting?
also, did you notice also that creator of the Survivor series in America, the reality TV program, and I'm an absolute nutter on it. I absolutely love the social systems in place and how they create it. From the first one that happened 20 years ago to the one that just finished, I love it. But the creator of Survivor, those 6 Tongan boys that got lost and passed away on the island, that was the reason he started the Survivor series based on those 6 lost boys. Did you know that?
Amazing. Yeah. I found out later. After reading that clip we're speaking of. But also I found a story, and I added an update about one of the survivors. I knew they had met up together, but it was very difficult getting pictures because of copyrights and stuff to put with that post. But there was an update in the last few days on the mail, and I posted that as an update, and it has one of the young men going back to the island 50 years after, and that was his. Yeah, that was his. He wanted to do his last request, and when you think about it, is exactly that one moment. I should say that one little segment of his life of being on that excursion that became, tragically them being, stranded, but it made him a more successful, if not a better person. Probably all of them, had positive effects when they came back, at least in their psyches about what to do and what not to do.
Even the
But
broken leg story.
Yeah, yes.
Everybody would think, without a hospital, you break your leg. Oh, it's all over, right? Well, we've been breaking our legs since we've been walking around, and apparently, and you look at bones, apparently they figured it out.
Well, they've been doing that obviously for
they reset
thousands of years.
That was incredible. They reset a broken leg perfectly, and those 6 boys were 15 to 16, and yet they had the wisdom within, because they wouldn't have learned it. Right. The reset his broken leg.
But you're bringing out another interesting aspect of that whole storyline, because they chose the path of cooperation, of community, if not brotherhood with each other. All the things, for the most part, probably did much better. Meaning, even though there's accidents, even though there's some misunderstandings, even though there's some grief, lack of food and so on and so forth, they chose a positive path. And this affects us because when we choose to go with the flow of the universe, the call, of allowance for love, and that's always, what we all come back to, that affects everything. So if they were mean to each other, cruel or neglectful, it would have been totally different. A broken leg being set let's say, others that didn't really care or did it haphazardly. But you see what I'm saying? So the effects of this whole thing really were more positive. And that's a lesson we need to learn in this world right now. Again, that when we go about whatever, that's befalling us on this plane, if we do it with good intent to help others, and always be appreciative. And I know you both know this, but to be appreciative of just being here and for whatever we're allowed for to enjoy, to experience, then it comes back to us. It always does. That's my experience. I know it's yours as well. We always have to
reaffirming the beauty of my life, of creation, and the gratitude, and knowing it's just I don't have to get, it's not like this ridiculous, it's just appreciation is a proper word. And I would be no other person, and I'd be no other place.
Yeah.
Given a choice, no. Like I said, even being an Aspie, we have a cure. Here's your cure.
We're here, so make the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
Until the end.
Because it's a lot greater than society allows us to understand how beautiful creation is and the setting and having the nous within us.
Yeah. I know we're all on that same page and have been for a long time, but it's always good to have it reaffirmed. Things just, in each of our lives, we could give an example of things that might not be right now in our situations. But the bottom line is, I can look at both of you and I know that you wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now, no matter what was offered to you, because
this is spring water that my friend brought me over yesterday, along with the pizza. He has his family spring, and they have
on his property, on the property.
And, so here, the other days it was beer. Today it's spring water, because tomorrow we're meeting to drink beer. So today it's water.
I've got coffee with goat milk, autumn coffee.
That's right. You were showing me, and you have your South Island is so obviously the dairy farming is big there, but the farming is big on your island, and you have deer, you have herds of deer, you have obviously now goat.
Do a lot of hunting.
Yes, but what I'm saying is there's so much abundance of wildlife and stewardship of that wildlife and nurturing of it. Your island is so beautiful. It's New Zealand's 2 islands, but the South Island is the gem, in my mind.
I had American friends as such that have gone through the whole of New Zealand and realized that all of America, all the things in America are actually piled into New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yep.
You can go skiing or you can go swimming in the same day.
In many ways, Peter Jackson might have been able to film Lord of the Rings in America, but boy, he would have spent a lot more fuel to get the settings. Where in New Zealand, they were all there.
Exactly.
In one, in a relatively small area.
A lot of people don't realize that for a lot of the horses, the mounted, riders, they were locals. I have friends that used to go have their own horses down there and would go on treks all the time. It's a natural thing. Vern's probably familiar with these treks or heard of them, obviously throughout his country. So everyone had horses, and there was all these riders. He took advantage of that for casting, for backup and scenes and everything. But you're right, Vern. Everything is contained on that island. I'm just amazed by the majesticness of the different regions, the West Coast, the South, and of course the northern areas, and also the beaches and the sea life that's off it. Things there that you don't see anywhere else in the world.
I think
But it's all content.
wherever you
Um,
are in the world, it's where you are within yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
I
you know,
wanted to go there. I wanted to migrate there, but because of my health reasons, it wasn't going to be allowed. I could go visit, but I wasn't going to be allowed to stay because
a
of health reasons.
good thing for you to know, Dio, then, is that one of the big things that happened when basically for 2 months the world was silent was there was a micro, macro, or noospheric down and below in the earth, wherever you want to see it from your spiritual perspective, there was an immune system garnering. So that's everybody. That's the earth, you know. We go with the earth. So the earth's immune system got picked up beautifully. You know, there's a lot of people praying, and there was a lot of people gifting energy things and rituals going on. The airplanes weren't going. The rivers were flowing better. There was dolphins in the Venice canals. All these things were happening. So the immune system of the earth just blossomed. Now, automatically, humanity immune system on a whole, on the micro side,
It benefits.
and also, and this is a really negative way if you want to look at it this way, or a positive way. Now, death is a good thing in reality. We always come back anyway, as such. But whatever your thing is
Yeah.
a lot of people with compromised immune systems did leave, mainly the elderly. That actually helps the all. That's a beautiful, if you wanted to
That's
look
the
at
truth, right? That's a
the
very
sacrifice of great higher self knowing.
yeah.
Yeah. So the immune system of us all has been picked up.
Yeah. I follow that and yeah, it resonates. I suspected if this transition, this what is going on, hadn't happened, I probably would have been gone. I should have been gone a couple of years ago, but and I'm still, I still have my problems. But saying that, I've been at peace for a long time about passing on, and I don't think, and what you just said really, uh, you know, when he was, it represents the way I feel about it. I've experienced so many wonderful things. I've lived long enough to really enjoy life, so I have no qualms about passing on. I know what it is. I already, in some ways, long for it. I have to watch myself and not do that because it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I got to stay focused on the here and now. It's you know it
Your
goes
vibration needs to be part of the. Some people might say the crystalline grid or
like
whatever.
many of us, right? Right.
Your
That's
vibration
a good point.
need to be here. You know,
It's holding space. It's holding space.
Very much.
Someone asked me about that recently, another friend, and we were going on about all the desperateness in the world. I said, it's not for us to we're not the ones now to do the physical or to be out there and to be the actives anymore. It's for us to hold the space, the ground, and keep the love. And really, I know that's cliche, but it's the truth. I mean, we're here. Even our friend, dearly departed Brooke, it's the same thing. She understood that. We're here to hold the space and just to, continue support with the love. And that is for whatever's negative. We need to just constantly keep reaffirming. It's okay. It's okay.
Another thing that's people are starting. This is all very new, and something else that's starting to get picked up or just being seen is that everything that's happening, including your health, your mindset, everything, is like 2 steps forward and a step back. And they have to have a step back. And I believe that's for the sleepers or the dead, as we call them. I have to change that.
That's all
so
right.
we're taking 2 steps forward, and then we're having a step back, and all different things, not just this or that, but all different things. So if we're doing anything, we're not used to that. We're used to it
moving forward, and maybe stop. And now it's like big forward.
Even the planets, again, that's as like Ilko mentioned in the tent about retrogrades. So in again, there's more forward motion, but then there's retrograde. And so even as we observe our placement on this planet to observe the heavens, which is part of another communication, shows us that there's a naturalness, and it's not regressive. To revisit is, once again, that's a revisiting. And it's almost like a heart, like, where the pump out is a bit stronger, but it comes back in and it pumps out. And so we see all around us, everywhere we want to see, this is natural. It is only in the unnatural world, that's on the earth, that it's always like about this forward, everything forward. Of course, because somebody goes forward.
I watched it with the material. We had the Flynn thing happen, and we had the visa abuses happen. We had Obamagate going out there, and everybody that's wanting things to happen and see things happening was all like, yes, and it was shit. And you could see it, and it was like, it's okay. I've been watching this in myself. I've been watching it out there. It's just the wee step back. And it did feel like 5 steps forward anyway, instead of 2, when you go back a week and a half. Old material coming out and the Obama years being recognised. So I just got so excited. And then I watched myself going, oh. And then I watched other people going, oh. And it's okay. And, once you get it and you can see that you're part of the whole, you're going to go with it to whatever extent. You're just not going to be in the fear. You know that the next step's going to come because you 2 steps, and then we're going to have another step back. At least the next time you can prepare for it, and you can help people and put your arms around other people. Just get a virtual arm around people and say, it's okay. There's a few more steps coming up. Oh, good. Won the war. 2012 happened. 2021. That's when the pick.
That's beautiful. What do you guys think? Is this enough for at least now?
I'm just so thankful that we've done it, and it's going on the White House Q thread and the top thread, and you're not doing anything else like that. You're not cancelling this one.
No.
Go now. I let that go now. Blessings, and I love you both.
You will have this one.
So this will be a wrap for not necessarily the end of our conversation, but this will be the end of this Mystic Brew. So we hope you enjoyed it and was had some purpose for you. Until next time, be well. All that good stuff.